Most people won't accept that they do evil things, they do angry things, that they're, potentially savage, violent, nasty, mean, envious creatures. How do we get in touch with this, Robert?
Well, there are 18 chapters in the book, 18 laws, but the law number one, which is implied in the book, is the fact that we deny our own nature. We don't want to admit it. So it's always the other person that's a narcissist. It's always the other person who's violent and aggressive. But me, no, no, I'm not. I'm a saint. It's always the other person who's the conformist. No, I always get my ideas from myself. I don't listen to other people. It's always the other people who are envious. No, I never compare. It's bullshit. The person who denies it the most, the person who says most vehemently that I am not a narcissist is the most narcissistic person of all because they have to prove how different they are from other people. It's all about themselves, right? So denial, as Freud said, is merely a way of disguising the opposite, which you're trying to disguise from yourself. Okay, so we have a dark side. I try and make the point in the book. We are all narcissistic and self-absorbed by nature. We all have aggressive impulses by nature. We are designed as animals to feel envy. So stop trying to play the saint and admit that you have these same tendencies. And the dark side is a chapter the shadow, in which I try and explain where the dark side comes from. And I explain that in childhood, if you've ever had children or been around children, you know, or you remember your own childhood, children are kind of these complete individuals. They feel a very wide range of emotions. Some of the emotions are positive, like love and affection and empathy, but a lot of the emotions are negative: anger, destructiveness, hatred, violence, etc. And children haven't yet been socialized. They have these complete range of emotions, right? They're like a total, like a round ball of energy that just exists and they can't control it. They just are who they are, good and bad, angel and demon, all in one. But then as you get older, as you become 6 or 7 years old, you just have to listen to your parents and your teachers tell you, you can't be like that little Bobby or Susie or whatever. I'm sorry about my bad names here. You have to learn to get along with other people. You can't be so angry. You can't be so violent. You can't be so aggressive. You need to control it. And you on and on, year after year after year after year after hearing this, you push it down, and that round ball of energy starts becoming this squash little thing like that. And all of the dark energy gets pushed down in somewhere else. But it doesn't disappear because nothing that's a natural human energy. You can't get rid of it. It's there. It's just repressed and pushed down into what's called your shadow, what Carl Jung called the shadow side of the personality. And the shadow will come out later in life when you're in your 20s, for instance, when you suddenly have a burst of anger and you tell somebody something that you regret the next day and you go, what the hell came over me? Was that somebody else? That wasn't me. I don't understand it. Or you buy something that was totally wrong, that was not the right purchase for you. And the next day you go, why did I buy that thing? Why did I spend $40,000 on a new car when I don't even have that? Blah, blah, blah. When suddenly you have some sort of behavior that surprises you as if it came out of nowhere. You leave your very good wife you've been married to for 20 years for some sexy model who's 20 years old, and she ruins your life, and you're such an irrational. Why did I do that? Who was that person that came out? Well, that is your shadow side that you've repressed, that's coming out in moments that you can't control. So oftentimes we see that with celebrities who get caught in the act of doing something kind of naughty or bad, and they'll always come out in public and they'll say, that wasn't me. That isn't who I am. No, that is exactly who you are. That is exactly who you are. That is more you than the kind of saintly person you try and present. It's that dark side that is really a part of you that came out that you've been trying to conceal from other people. Okay? So the thing is, you have to admit that you have a dark side, that you have aggressive impulses, that you have some antisocial impulses, that you have a rebellious streak, which is natural for all of us. We all went through a rebellious phase in our teens, etc. That you have these qualities that you kind of don't like in other people, but you have them as well, right? And the point is not to just suddenly become this devilish person in life and just give full rein to all that stuff, but to be aware back to awareness and to be able to channel it in a productive manner. So, for instance, I deal a lot of consulting with athletes, for instance, who have problems with power, etc. And they're the type of people who have a lot of them, like basketball players, and I'm sure it's the same in football in the UK. They have a lot of aggressive, competitive, ambitious energy, right? And this is one area where you can now channel that dark energy into something productive by putting it into your team, by becoming a better player, by winning in competitions. So you can channel your aggressive impulses into making the best business ever and putting that competitive energy into something that benefits society by creating a killer product of some sort, right? So you can channel it into pro-social ways, in fact. If you learn, and I often tell artists, people who are filmmakers or writers, your anger is your best weapon of all. I know when I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, which has been my most successful book, we've sold well over 2 million in the United States. I don't mean to brag, but I'm just saying. Um, yeah, I'm bragging. That's my dark side. I'm going to stop that. Um, is is I had a lot of anger, right? I had worked in Hollywood and I hated the falseness in Hollywood. I hated all the phony, yeah, I love your screenplay, blah, blah, all the bullshit. And I channeled my anger into that book. And people feel it. They like the anger. So if you're an artist, don't be afraid of your own anger or your own dislikes or even your violent energy. Put it into your work because people are so repressed out there and so politically correct. They're going to love it. They're going to love that you express some of those emotions that everyone else is afraid to express, and you put it in a work of art. So find ways to use that dark energy that are actually productive.